Thanks, everybody. We are back on Business Monday. Thanks to Gary Sass, the money man, for giving some insights. He really is a key advisor to Senator Marco Rubio, which played a key role in, I think, leveling this tax reform legislation a little bit to be a little bit more beneficial to lower income and middle income families. And I want to welcome to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center, Mr. Cascione, the man. It's kind of like money man to money man, having Gary Sass on and then yourself. A significant role in the credit union. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you and to everyone else.
Yeah, how do you see the Rhode Island economy these days?
We've seen a definite improvement. This year, 2017, a banner year for lending at Navigant Credit Union across all lines, commercial, residential, and consumer. We've had the biggest years ever in each of our departments.
Wow.
So my colleagues, Dave and Bob, have been phenomenal in getting so many loans closed this year. And on the commercial side, same thing. It'll be a record year for loan originations. As a credit union as a whole, I think we're going to hit or surpass the $500 million mark in new loan originations.
Really?
So for a $2 billion, almost $2 billion credit union, that's just a fantastic amount of originations for the year.
And in 17, are you seeing things any different? Are there any trends that were, first of all, other than growth, are you seeing any trends on the type of commercial lending? On Business Monday, we really like to look at what's going on in the Rhode Island economy. Are they bigger asks? Are they more complex?
I would say not necessarily more complex. Some larger asks.
Yep.
Some people are expanding a little more.
Yeah.
We have recently put together a kind of a little bio of the year for the SBA. The SBA was very helpful in our side of it, guaranteeing a certain number of loans for us. We've done a few loans for people who have been renting and now they want to move and buy their own building.
Yeah.
Some really great success stories there. Lots of operating lines of credit this year, which, in the manufacturing side and wholesale retail, that means these businesses are getting busier. They need some more money for their cash cycle, and that's been working out really well.
Are you worried about retail?
Not from what we see.
Yeah.
It seems like if you look at the numbers for Christmas shopping the first couple of weeks, and I'll be curious to see what it is in the end, it's been one of the biggest years ever for that. You drive by any mall, even now, they're pretty busy overall.
The numbers on digital are absolutely through the roof. So, but obviously we saw the implications of Benny's.
Of course.
Arnold was here a day or two after the announcement of the closure. I think he announced on a Friday. He was here on Business Monday and talked about some of the challenges and their lack of modernizing, becoming a digital player.
Sure.
And one thing he pointed out, which I really hadn't thought about, was he said, I think he's 67, he's been working there since he was 17, making bikes on North Main Street.
Sure.
And he said, we opened, we had 5 stores when I started working, and 50 years later, there's still 1 million people in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
They've grown up to 31 stores.
Sure.
Not a lot of growth in population, and thus other portions of the country feed off that intense growth. How do we, listen, you guys have now grown to be one of the big boys, right?
Sure.
And how do we combat that as a business environment, whether it's in the financial services or in just general business strategy?
We have always supported small businesses. Let's face it, Rhode Island is made up of, the vast majority of businesses here are small businesses, by definition or otherwise. A lot of mom and pop shops. And I think the message has been clear from Navigant over the last several years. We're here to lend money. We are here to give small businesses what they need. Obviously, when the deal is right and it makes sense, we are here to provide capital. We're here to help people grow.
Right.
And I think the more of that message that gets out, credit unions as a whole are sending that message loud and clear. We are financing businesses, whether it's startups, businesses in a growth mode, businesses relocating. And that's why we've been so successful over the last several years. And the last 2 or 3 years, and of course 2017 being the biggest, it's proving out that we've got to get our message out there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people complain in general, well, there's no money available, banks aren't lending money. And while I won't certainly speak for banks, I can speak for the credit unions. We are lending money. We find some great small businesses in Rhode Island in all different sectors, and some fantastic success stories of people that have worked really hard to get where they are today.
It gets much more interesting for you in 18 because you've added 3 branches.
We have.
Right? I mean, this is one of the biggest expansions. It's not the usual norm for a financial institution in Rhode Island to add not 1, not 2, but 3 locations. And it takes you to an entirely different portion of the state, and a portion of the state that is generally considered more affluent, and some higher incomes and some significant opportunity. How do you see that? That seems to be, from talking to Tim Draper, that merger and those acquisitions seem to be going along very well, retaining key staff members, retaining accounts. Talk a little bit about how you see that's going to affect 18.
Sure. So 2017, as you mentioned, it was a big year for growth. We opened 2 branches, one in East Greenwich on the Coventry line, and one in Warwick on Warwick Avenue within 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We have another branch coming online. It's a Chartway Credit Union in Wakefield, Rhode Island. That will become a Navigant Credit Union. We have basically just purchased their assets and deposits. So yes, 3 branches in 2 months, that's a lot for anyone.
Right.
But for us, it was a big step, but we saw it as a great opportunity to get ourselves down toward the southern region a little bit more. You know, we are a Northern Rhode Island credit union.
Right.
We have pretty much every spot in the north that we want for locations. So this was a great opportunity for us to get down that 295 corridor and a little farther south than we're used to. And we think it's going to be an awesome opportunity because we have lots of members who live in those areas already. We have lots of businesses in those areas that maybe were hesitant to do business with us before because we didn't have a branch close by. Now we will. So we've reassigned a few people down to that region from the commercial lending group and the business development group. And their job's going to be to get out there and get the message out. Hey, we're here to help. What can we do?
In the context of this time of year and the holiday season and everybody's watching It's a Wonderful Life, it is a little like the savings and loan has taken a bite into Mr. Potter's empire.
Pretty much.
This is a really exciting time. You've been there, how many years?
Almost 12 years.
12 years, and you're now hitting sort of that super growth as an organization, as well as, you know, some of the bigger players don't have the same presence. I mean, Fleet Bank of 12 years ago, Fleet Bank of America, what was it, Fleet then?
It was Fleet.
Right, was the 800-pound gorilla, and now, unless you're looking to borrow $10 or $20 million, Bank of America is not much of a factor in this marketplace. How does that, within the culture of being, you know, a community-based, giving to every little league, to every, you know, how do you carry that forward and keep that cultural consistency of being a great savings and loan type of credit union, as well as now dealing with $5 million loans?
Sure. I think the one thing Navigant has always done is give back to the communities in which we have a presence. We're very charitable as an organization. Last year, I believe we gave out almost a little over $500,000 to 400 different groups and organizations, whether it be Little League teams, YMCA, YWCA, Boys and Girls Clubs. We were involved in the American Heart Association in several different facets. We are always involved with Rhode Island Special Olympics. So we are a very charitable and giving organization to worthy causes that we can help. Gary Furtado, our president, who apologized for not being able to get here today, he's a huge proponent for Little Sisters of the Poor.
Yeah, right.
Great organization that gives so much to the people that they serve at the Gene Gigon residence.
Right.
And it's that tone from the top that we should volunteer time. We should give of our time, talent, and treasure whenever possible. And that goes all, you know, down to every employee. We have a V-Force program that allows every employee to take one paid day off out of work to volunteer at an organization. And I think that's been met with great support. This time of year, we've done toy give-outs, we've done food give-outs at Thanksgiving. It's just a great thing to see. And that, again, that's all the way from the top down.
Last week, GoLocal broke a story about Hasbro has an RFP out to build a new campus, and we unveiled that Gilbane and Paolino had teamed together to put together a proposal for a new corporate headquarters that would go right there
exactly.
and would result in the tear down of the Superman building. As you know, I've been pitching the Superman building to everyone from Navigant.
Sure.
You guys have surrounded Providence, and I tease on this, but you know, you've now surrounded. You've got a little bit of Aquidneck Island to take on. Probably need to open a branch on Block Island, but after that, it is into the city. And you know, you're now nearly $2 billion. You're one of the biggest players in the state. How do you continuously demonstrate leadership and, on the commercial side especially, drive those bigger players into being partners with you?
Sure.
And seeing you guys as a valuable.
We do a lot of lending throughout the entire state. It's not, I don't want it to be misconstrued that because we're primarily in northern Rhode Island and now branching out to a little bit of East Bay and southern Rhode Island, we still lend money all over the state. And we have several of our clients and our members that have businesses in Providence.
Right.
You know, our senior management team, they conducted a study for branch expansion a couple of years ago. They have the results. I believe it's a book about this thick. But it really does
Azar have it? Is that who we
probably,
need to, we need to get it off of his desk?
Probably. Well, hey, Brian was key in getting, you know, helping us get these two branches in Warwick and in East Greenwich. And I think we just look for opportunities every year. We're constantly being aware of what's out there. We have somewhat of a plan that's set down that 295 corridor. So does it mean Providence? It could be. It could be North Providence. It could be Johnston. It could be Warwick, as you see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're looking for opportunities always. But I think with these latest 3 openings, the last one, which will be completed around mid-January, I think we're going to probably take a deep breath in 2018 and continue to look for opportunities, but make sure that the 3 we're opening now are growing at the rate we expect, getting the deposit business in, and of course getting the business community and locals in to see how we can help from the lending side.
Rhode Island's economy seems to be a little helter-skelter. Some indicators are spectacularly good. Low unemployment, about as good as you can have. And then there's some other indicators. What do you think? I mean, you guys must think about this quite a bit. What else could Rhode Island business leaders, governmental leaders do to make this a better place to do business?
I think that, you know, the current administration has done their best effort to try to attract some new businesses.
Yeah.
Do I think Amazon's coming to Rhode Island? Probably not. I don't think we have the infrastructure, but boy, that would be a great score. We need something to grow our jobs, and you know, and it goes back to workforce.
CVS deal could potentially be that. I mean,
Absolutely.
The CVS deal we've reported on is the 11th largest deal in the world in the past 12 years.
Sure, and it's a great acquisition for them. But I think the bigger issue here in Rhode Island, we've talked about it at different chamber events and different things, it's the whole workforce development issue.
Right. Everybody sees that.
We have a workforce that we don't have enough people in the right jobs or jobs where there are needs to be filled. You know, it goes back to what my mother and father told me when I was young. Not everybody's going to college.
Right.
I went to college. I was fortunate enough. I had the desire, the will, and just got through it, you know, strong. A lot of people don't want to go to college. We need to create more of a workforce development team, whether it's at the state level and of course all the local levels. That's kind of the big buzz right now, getting the workforce ready for jobs that are available, but we don't have the talent pool to fill it.
Yeah, no, we see it, and you know, we're constantly looking for folks with our growth, and you know, I think just about everybody who's hiring, you know, I know Virgin Pulse is trying to add a couple hundred jobs, and they're working very hard to try and find folks that can meet the criteria that they need to have. Anything else you want to mention while?
I just think it's, you know, it's the holiday season. Everybody's busy. Everybody's in a giving mode, and you know, we at Navigant do our best to make it a very happy and healthy season for all of our employees, for everyone that works with us, and of course for all the communities we serve. I see 2018 as another great opportunity for a banner year again. We'll watch it. You know, we'll watch interest rates. We'll see what happens overall. The Fed hasn't said anything yet this month. I thought by now, I don't know when their next meeting is, but we'll see. I think the economy's improving. I do.
Yeah.
Even in Rhode Island, I think,
Right.
you're right.
And interest rates, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, interest rates are insanely low.
And they're
They're just
have
not
been.
zero.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you think about the prime rate back in 2008, it took until now for it to go up 3/4 of a point.
Right.
That's a
It's
long stretch.
Yeah, it's really remarkable.
So-
Listen, I want to thank you. We're signing up for another year, I think,
Absolutely.
together, and
Great.
it's been wonderful. And we couldn't have done all the things we've done at GoLocal Live without the partnership with Navigant, and
It's our
it's been-
pleasure.
yeah, I mean, it's been remarkable. We had the
Absolutely.
National Archivist in here the other day. I think that was the day after Billy Gilman was in.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I mean, it's this eclectic
Nice.
group of folks from really all over the world. We've had Skypes from the Middle East and from France.
You
And
had my
from-
favorite chef on, Lydia.
Oh yeah, she Skyped in
She's
the other
awesome.
week. Yeah, she's great.
awesome.
And we've had amazing. I think we've had 50, 100 different chefs from all over the region. So it's been great. So we're going to take a break. Thank you. And we'll be right back at the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center in just 1 minute. We're going to look and take a peek at, over the past 10 months, who've been the 1,000 folks who have been on the show. So be right back.